Happy Saturday, crypto friends. We're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and then members voted on NEO, EOS, XLM, XMR, and ONT. Today's being marked by a significant XRP weakness. It's falling back into an area with a lack of support, and we're now watching, is this going to bode well for the bears going forward and poorly for the bulls? Because we saw XRP pump to the upside and then lead to market strength, is it now going to be a leading indicator for the entire sector pulling back? So that's what we're looking for signs of. Also had some news come out here. Bitfinex finds a banking partner with HSBC. So this is just furthering the banking sector, opening up the doors more towards the cryptocurrency space. And you know that when they say things like, oh, we're not interested in it, behind the scenes, they're definitely looking into it, and they just don't want their competitors to know that what they're doing essentially. But I'm curious to see how these other players, Fidelity, I'm very interested to see how Fidelity comes on board in this cryptocurrency space. The bottom line is they're doing it very slowly. And of course, cryptocurrency moved so fast for an entire year of 2017 and beyond. And it seems like, they're on different planes where one is going a million miles an hour and the other one is going slow at the speed of business. So that's where we stand. And again, it's just going to, in my opinion, continually be a slow developing beneficial environment. The backed exchange in November, if that gets up and running, 2019 is going to be a little bit more friendly in terms of news for the cryptocurrency space, in my opinion. Whether that can, we know it's going to fix the price in the sense that we know the weekly time frame is going to change trends and be in a bullish trend. The question is it going to happen in 2 weeks or is it going to happen in 6-8 months? I don't know the answer, but I do know that the trend will change and the bulls will have significant opportunity when that trend does change, which is why we're sticking around here and waiting patiently for the market to give us these signals. So again, I still haven't traded this cryptocurrency space in a very long time, but you better believe I'll be all over it when the opportunity is there. So we're looking at Bitcoin and we still have the daily equilibrium to be watching, and it's still tightening up. Looks like this may be our lower high. Bulls are hoping it is not. But if we do continue to pull back into tomorrow, as we're at the low of the day already right now, that would definitely have us looking for the lower high and then having to hold the support of 63.99. So right now the support is 63.99. Might as well call that 6,400. And resistance is 66.41. And there's a triple top there, pretty much 66.39 to 66.42. We have 3 rejections at that resistance line. So the daily chart does continue to tighten. The weekly chart continues to tighten. And we are patiently waiting for a spike in volume and a spike in volatility. Checking in on ETH. Also in the daily equilibrium. Bit more clear. Still don't know if that's our lower high yet. So the range right now is 214 support and 238.69 resistance, and we would need further pullback tomorrow for us to say, all right, that is our lower high, and we're heading down towards support. We are closer to breaking support here. Let's see, percentage-wise, just very roughly, $8 to get to the downside, so less than 4%. And checking Bitcoin for a bear break of 6,400, we're looking down at about 2%. So actually, it is closer to a bear break for Bitcoin than it is for ETH. And that's just a little bit of deceiving visually just in terms of the y-axis of the chart. So that's a good little lesson there. Definitely want to always double check and see what the numbers are, because if you look at these two, it looks like Bitcoin has more space when in reality, it percentage-wise does not. So Ethereum, and we can look at the 4-hour time frames for everybody, but really it's just choppy. So I like daily chart for clarity. And again, the tighter you get, the choppier the shorter term timeframes get. So that's why it's important to zoom out, which is what I've been doing in this space for a while. And even the 4-hour time frame right now, I don't find useful. I found it useful a couple days ago, but not where we currently stand right now. It's all about the daily chart for me. If you wanted to find support and resistance levels, I'm not saying don't look at the 4-hour chart. I'm just saying that the price action is not respecting the 4-hour levels like it's currently respecting the daily levels. So here's this weakness in XRP, and we were looking at the weak setup in the video yesterday. We highlighted how this bounce is weak, and if we do not get more follow through, it definitely favors the bears, and it's falling back now really hard. You can see as soon as we broke this support level, which was over 50 cents, that was 506. As soon as 506 broke, it was just a free fall of 4+ cents, almost 10% to the downside, and it's getting very extended. The 4-hour RSI is down at 26 at this point. You can see the exponential resistance on the 4-hour continue to reject the price, a big bear volume spike. The hourly RSI got crushed, 14.5, 15.5, It's still trying to recover. No real bounce follow through yet. 15-minute time frame, clear lower highs. And what I'm watching is the 5-minute time frame because we continuously reject from these exponential resistances. And if we can't get over them, then we know that there's no bounce going to come. So we have to get over these exponential resistances as step number one for the bounce. And right now it's a bit of a descending triangle on the 5-minute time frame, almost a double bottom down here, and lower highs. Anything under 477 is just a lower high. Let's see if we get a really tight range and then a break in one direction or the other. If I were looking to trade XRP right now, it's too late to take a bearish position in my opinion. I would never enter a bearish position with these RSI levels where they are right now, and I'd patiently be waiting on the 5-minute time frame to potentially enter a bullish position with the ideal setup. And knowing that I want the trade to come to me, I would say, all right, if we set another lower high and can't break 477 and then we come back down, I can either make a bottom fishing play where I will enter and exit if 47 breaks, or I can just patiently wait for the bull break. If we make the bull break right now over 477, the 5-minute time frame is going to be a bit too extended for me to like jumping in on that bull break. I want it to be tighter if I'm going to jump in on a resistance break when looking for just an oversold bounce, knowing that it will be short term, knowing that we have 15-minute exponential resistances next and then hourly exponential resistances. So I would only be looking for a short term little flip there if this trade does play out that way. NEO USD, actually, let's go to XRP back on the daily. So we are losing daily exponential supports at this point, and the next major level is 4355. So the bulls have to hold that level. The weekly time frame is forming an inside bar last week, an inside bar this week. I expect it to hold with another inside bar this week, and we'll see how these break potentially next week. Certainly favoring the bears at this point. NEO USD is still in a tightening daily pattern as well. We had the high and the low. Lower high, almost a double top. Didn't form a higher low yet. Almost formed a higher low here, but it's still lower highs every single candlestick. The bulls attempted a bull move here, but right back down to the lows. So we're watching 1766 support, but that's not a must-hold level for the bulls. We're still looking for that daily higher low to be found, but the size of the pullback that we have seen from that high all the way up at 2067 is definitely a red flag. At this point, we pulled back over 5% from that point. So it's 1766, but the most important level is 1708, and we have a new resistance level now of 1870, and then a bunch of resistances from every day's lower high. So let's see how this bull fake out took place, and it was just one of those 5-minute pumps. Talked about it in yesterday's video. Bitcoin saw a 10-minute pump and then a 5-minute pump in the last few days. It's just not convincing. It's not fooling anybody. It's not fooling the bears, and it's not fooling us patient bulls. And here was another one, 5-minute bull break, 0 follow through, and now sideways trading. So that's all we've got here for NEO. And still tightening on the daily time frame, as are most names. So most names still tightening on the daily, but just favoring the bears because we're obviously much closer to a bear break than we are to a bull break. EOS USD is a really nice tight pattern, still forming. High low, I'd call, well, too early to call that a lower high yet. We'll see if this is a lower high. If we pull back and break the support levels from the past couple days tomorrow, then we'll say, all right, that's our lower high. And this is a higher low. So I'm looking at 541 and 532.5, two supports. And resistance is 593 and then up to 605. And I'm doing a bit of rounding there, but it's still just a tightening pattern. Did get a little bit choppy in there, and that's, I believe, the day that Bitcoin probably got a little choppy as well, making its daily equilibrium a little bit less clear. But you can see it is still a tightening pattern, and we would look for a higher low compared to 5407. XLM USDT, another tightening pattern. So high, low, lower high, higher low. We saw Binance break its 4-hour equilibrium and tight pattern and get some solid follow through. This is one that, again, favors the bears. Look at this bounce attempt. It's just nothing there. It's a bear flag. This is what it looks like on the XRP daily chart. So just a refresher, with our mind should be picking out patterns and say, oh, I recognize what that looks like. So a weak bounce attempt, the lower high and lower low. And then we look at XLM, a weak bounce attempt, potential for a bear break. 236 and 2305 are two support levels with resistance at 25 and then up to 264. So bears have the upper hand. Support test currently approaching. Very tight range the last 3 days. And you can see we are coming down to test these support levels on a slight increase of bear volume. XMR USD also looking like a weak setup right now just because we broke multiple daily inside bars bearish, so we have to be cautious of that. And this isn't your standard equilibrium because we had our high, the low of the pullback, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low. So the equilibrium didn't really start until this low was set. So these are the levels I'm looking at. Support is 111 and 107.80, and resistance is up at 120.61. So a bear break, and it actually looks like we might have even had an inside bar bull break just before that bear break, another fake out. And it looks like we broke bullish by 21 cents, and then the bears came in here. So it's almost like some of these names were close to breaking bullish, but then XRP weakness, and I'm sure that's affecting everybody in the sector, pulling things back now, and everybody's at their low of the day in response to that. So some definite bull traps out there on a couple of these names, and now we're looking down at support of 111. It is a bear break of a tight range over the past couple of days, but bulls can still remain in a tightening daily pattern if 111 holds. If 111 breaks, it's a very clear bear break, and we have to keep watching these weekly charts and see who's a potential weekly bear flag and who is not. Nice equilibrium setup on XLM's weekly chart. Nobody's looking strong. XLM's looking the strongest just because there's the least amount of history, and XRP is still stronger than everybody else as well because that pump was so much bigger. Let's wrap it up now with ONTUSD. This is one of the more clean-looking equilibriums that we've looked at here. So we're looking for the bulls to probably form a lower high here. I'm looking at resistance of 2034 and 211, and the support the bulls need to maintain is 1865. So tightening range, same thing. We got a bull break here, but it faded, and likely because XRP is dragging the sector down with it. So overall, slight bear lean on every pattern that we have on the daily time frames, and if we break the daily patterns bearish, it's just one step forward for the bears to break the weekly chart bearish as well, and the odds will shift pretty solidly with whichever direction we break the daily chart. It's going to be a solid shift in that direction for where we're going to break the weekly chart as well. So patiently waiting still, sitting on our hands, not over trading in this environment unless you're having success. If you are trading in this current environment and having success, by all means keep it up. But if you find yourself struggling and it's tough, that's not surprising because this is what happens when you get into a choppy, tight equilibrium pattern. So, I mean, my best advice that I've been giving for probably 2 months at this point is if you are newer in this market, sit this one out, study, educate yourself, paper trade, practice, use small amounts. Don't give away your capital. Don't give away the pile that's sitting here and waiting for when that opportunity strikes again, because we are going to need that capital when that comes. And the last thing we want to be doing is slowly dwindling away and have less to play with when it's an easy game. Remember when 2017 was so easy for the bulls? That kind of easy environment will return. Again, it's just a question of when, and we don't know when. I appreciate you watching. I hope you all do good things out there today and for the rest of the weekend and the rest of forever. We've got Iceland, some more stuff. I forget what. I edited it yesterday. We'll see. See you tomorrow.